Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel. Happy 11th day of Inkvent. 11 is my lucky number, my favorite number, as you guys might know if you've watched any of my prior videos for BookTube and AuthorTube. I frequently make my top 10 list surprise a top 11 list because, you know, lucky number 11. And December 11th also would have been my favorite writer's 107th birthday, Alexander Isayevich Solzhenitsyn. And in the coming new year, I will continue adding to the series I had begun some months ago, talking about, you know, his books, his life, just all sorts of things about this wonderful, wonderful person I am so absolutely indebted to. Like, he really inspired me as a writer, reawakened my Russophilia. Just, I owe so damn much to him. But anyway, getting back to Inkvent, the topic of this actual video, let's see what's behind lucky door number 11. Hopefully it's going to be a winner. I've so far been mostly liking the inks. I have been, you know, discovering this tab does not want to pop open. There it goes. Let's see, number 11. This is going to be blue. Brrr. B-R-R-R exclamation point. So the typeface is much larger than usual because it, you know, is such a short little word, or like a non-word depending on your perspective, and they want to fill up as much as a label as possible. I guess this fits. Like, oh, your mouth and your skin, they turn blue when you're going brrr, and like blue represents cold. Is this a, looks like a shimmer ink. This is a, oh, it's a pigment shimmer ink. That's completely new ballpark to me. That's going to be really fun. So see you guys when I set up my overhead tripod. That's a really, really beautiful blue color. The only prior one of their Diamine Forever inks I've tried was Carousel on day 3 of this Inkvent, the one that was unfortunately spoiled for me the night before on Instagram because someone was just so damn trigger happy. I love the color blue. It's my second favorite color. This is really, really shaping up to be a lovely medium shade of blue. And I guess, I mean, I have like no experience frame of reference thus far, but I can definitely see where it could be looking obviously like a permanent ink. I don't really know how to describe it in words, but it just, you know, looks different, kind of a different texture, a kind of different coating it's drying to than the way it normally dries with a regular fountain pen ink swatch. I have to shake it up again for another coating. I already know what pen I'm going to be putting this lovely ink in. It's called Let It Snow. It's a Gold Spot exclusive with Opus 88. Unfortunately, it's, you know, out of stock now, completely sold out. I don't believe they're going to be making more of it. I'm so lucky I got my own pen before they sold out. I could not resist, you know, just memories of like living in a place where there was an actual winter instead of, unfortunately, for the last like 8 or so years I've been in the US South where like there's just no winter, like no real snow, maybe like one day a year every so often, but it's just not nearly like it was back home in Albany, New York, when there was like a true winter and like beautiful snow. I mean, of course I hated walking and driving through it and like shoveling it and like slipping on ice, but just the beauty of winter, the snow, you know, the sense of, oh, there are proper 4 seasons here, and you can feel the change of the seasons and see it too, not just, oh, it's a little bit colder this time of year, but we're not really seeing any snow at all. And speaking of not seeing, I'm not really picking up so much shimmer yet. I'm just seeing the really pretty blue of this ink, but, you know, I have to wait until that dries up. See a little bit. I'm painting up way too much. I'm going to leave myself no room for actually writing the name of the ink. Doing one final go round up at the top. I just want to appreciate that blue as much as possible and get more of a chance for the shimmer to actually break through. I do see it's starting to dry up with a beautiful shimmer coating towards the bottom, but I'm not really seeing it so much on the other parts. And of course, I always paint off the excess for my miniature swatch up at the top of these pages. I don't like, you know, wasting anything, and using inks for artwork is very underappreciated. I love abstract art. That's one of my 3 favorite types of art for me to do. Personally, I love also geometric art, the abstract / modern art, and I also love really bright, colorful animals like, you know, parrots, tropical fish, tree frogs. This is a really, really wet ink. I can't believe how well it's holding up. It's just not losing, you know, any of its, like the pigment or the stuff on the brush. It's just like going and going and going. This is going, I can't stop freaking painting with it. This is going to be an amazing treat to actually write with. This is such an absolutely beautiful, beautiful ink, like bright, vivid, vibrant blue. Unfortunately, some droplets came onto my desk when I was filling up the eyedropper pen. Oh, I should have kept more space on both sides. Now it's going to have a huge awkward gap to the side, but you know, whatever, like learn from our mistakes. Diamine Inkvent calendar. Like, well, I did mop up with the syringe as much as I could of the little splotches that went onto the desk. Maybe they will get out with some water. I mean, of course, I'll be cleaning out my paintbrush. I already did clean out my paintbrush. It seemed to wash through. So, Diamine Inkvent. And it's always, sorry if I'm leaning into the frame yet again. I really, after the, you know, the stress of having to produce a video every day for 25 days for Inkvent ends, I can do a little bit more like calm, relaxed practice of making overhead videos and, like, you know, I guess mapping out sort of, oh, this is where I need to have like my hands and my notebook and the pen at all times, and I can't lean past this point because then otherwise I'm going to flash you guys my graying hairs at the temples. That's very embarrassing when that happens. You know, practice makes perfect, and the more I do this, the more I build my confidence. Hopefully I can squeeze all that. Oh, maybe yeah, that's a blessing in disguise. I guess I can, yeah, squeeze day 11 down onto the bottom. Yeah, you know, Hashgacha Pratit, divine providence, day 11. This is great. Worked out really well after all, and I thought this was an embarrassing mistake. Day 11. This is such a beautiful, beautiful blue, but that's no surprise for me because blue is my second favorite color, particularly dark and medium blues. Put that off up to the front, and I'm just gonna, did that bleed through? No, not at all. That's great. It only bleeds through apparently when I do eyedroppers of ink onto the page to do like miniature swatches. So maybe going forward in my next currently inked video, I should just, you know, paintbrush them on. Diamine Inkvent, day 11. Diamine Inkvent. I need to also learn better how to hold like glass dip pens more naturally instead of at this like awkward angle, so I make kind of juvenile looking letters when I'm writing this at the top. Diamine Inkvent, day 2025. I did not get the color vent calendar this year, but you know, I'm kind of like living vicariously through other people watching their videos every day, and some of the days make me think maybe I should have, you know, gotten it after all. Like a lot of people decided maybe I'm not interested this year because last year, and I watched those videos as well, oh, it looked kind of like safe and standard, so many like work safe, more conventional conservative blue inks. I'm not going to take a chance this year, but apparently they've listened to the, you know, critiques, and they really stepped up their game, did a lot more original inks, even though what I've seen so far, it doesn't, not all of them necessarily look more like a holiday winter, like festive type of ink as like Diamine does. So like Diamine is still winning there more towards the holiday theme than Color Vent, but you know, Color Verse, but they've got some really cool original inks I would love to try. Unfortunately, they only make the top 3 into pigment shimmer and top 3 into the full-size bottles after the Advent season is over. So, you know, if you end up really, really loving one of those colors, you're like SOL if that was not one of the 3 bottles. It shows you have to beg them off of like someone else who didn't want them, or like eBay or something like that, or try to make your own dupes or find close enough samples. Maybe next year I really will get to that. Oh, I almost forgot that. Day 11. Day 11, my lucky number. And I will write a longer writing sample with the pen, and then I'll come back and show you guys. This is lovely Let It Snow pen. This is a medium nib, but it writes more like a fine. There's my completed writing sample. Of course, since it was Alexander Isayevich's 107th heavenly birthday, I wrote quotes by him. Unfortunately, I only half remembered the quote about Eos. I felt really embarrassed when I saw the full quote. It really brought it running back, like rosy-fingered Eos, mentioned so often by Homer and called Aurora by the Romans, caressed too with those fingers the first early morning of the archipelago. Like, there's so many wonderful quotes he said in his, wonderful like books and short stories and plays and prose poems and poems over the years. This is a completed sample. Now, as I wrote more with it, it seemed to start leaning more towards the like bluish green, light teal side of the spectrum, more towards the lighter side of blue than medium blue, maybe a very, very light medium blue or a dark light blue. I don't have specific persnickety about the exactness of colors and stuff, but as you can see on the swatch, it's a much darker blue, so maybe it's just the properties of this paper. I'll have to see when I write my journal entry and use it on other types of paper later today, but it's still, regardless, I really do enjoy it. It's a beautiful, lovely color, and I pulled out some things that I thought would be a good match. When I was looking through my more medium-ish types of blues, I kept discarding them because, like, this is more of a blue-green, and those colors, the swatches I was thinking to compare it to, they're more like traditionally blue. So you can see this is Iced Cookie from Monteverde's Sweet Life set. I could not resist these inks. I bought them individually, but I got a lot from like BOGOs and sales and stuff, so ultimately saved money from buying the whole set together. Iced Cookies are really lovely, beautiful teal. I think it has, similarities, although Iced Cookie is definitely like a fair bit darker than there's Wearingeul Atlas, which is an Atlas Stationer's exclusive. Again, like, not, it doesn't look similar on the swatch, but when you compare it against the actual writing, it definitely looks much closer. And these are two samples which I got from Goulet for my free birthday ink samples last December. Ferris Wheel Press Storied Blue. I'm pretty sure I would not be getting a full bottle of this or another sample. It's way too light and dry, but it does seem to be a fairly good match. And Sailor Studio 341 was another of the samples. I think it's a nice match. I would be interested in buying a full bottle of this, but I would have to see how it writes in an actual pen first, not just in the swatch card. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you guys again tomorrow for day number 12 of Inkvent. Can't believe we're this far into the month already. Bye.